Am I the asshole for not tipping the dog groomer? To start, I know that tipping is important. I'm the bitch that tips $30 on a $50 haircut. Always at minimum 20% at a restaurant. But I think I was justified in this case. My dog got groomed today. I had him marked down to be groomed by a mobile groomer from 2 p.m. 4 p.m. This meant that I would need to give him some calm-down medication at 12 p.m., 2 hours beforehand. I stayed up late, but set my alarm for noon. I'm awakened by a call at 11:30 a.m. It's the dog groomer. She's outside. Instant panic. Me. I thought you were coming at 2? Her. No, I have you scheduled from 11 a.m. 1 p.m. You're already late. Me. Okay, I'll be right out. So I scramble up, throw on whatever clothes were nearest, and rush to get my dog his meds. I pretty much have a panic attack in the midst of this when I can't find his leash. Then the groomer starts to ring the doorbell, the dog starts barking, and it's just a mess. I finally get the dog outside. The conversation goes something like this. Me. I'm so sorry about the time mix-up. Totally my fault. He's on some anti-anxiety meds. If you can't finish the grooming, which has happened in the past because he gets so anxious, I'll obviously still pay you the full amount because this was my fault. Her. I'm sure we'll be fine, he seems friendly. We discuss details of the shave, and I go inside, trying to get my heart rate down under 120. I just can't shake the feeling that I know his appointment was for 2 p.m. So I go and check my confirmation email, text. Both say what I knew from the start. The appointment was scheduled for 2:04. I was fucking right. Feeling vindicated, I stopped panicking and started feeling pissed. But whatever. Shit happens. I'll just let them know that it was their mistake, and they'll apologize and we'll be fine. Well, they finish, and bring the dog in. He looks great. As they're ringing me up, I let them know what happened. Me. Just so you know, I checked, and all of the texts and emails I have say the appointment was at 2 after all. Her. Must have been some mistake between your phone and mine. Fucking really? So when it comes time to choose a tip, I just skip it. Fuck it. You want to come at the wrong time, causing my dog to undergo a stressful event partially unmedicated? Do you want to cause me to have a fucking panic attack? And not even apologize? Hell no, no tip for you. She actually lingered inside my house making small talk for a few minutes, giving me a look like she was waiting for me to whip out a cash tip. Nope. As she leaves, she finally gives a small, sorry about the booking mix-up. I thought I was completely justified. My dad, however, told me it was wrong not to tip, especially when they did such a good job. Now I'm feeling conflicted. They were really nice, the dog looks great, and it seemed like an honest mistake. IDK. Too long did not read. Dog groomers came 2.5 hours early, caused chaos, didn't apologize, and I didn't tip. Am I the asshole for not tipping the groomer? ETA told this might influence the judgment. I did note his need for medication online when booking. Fortunately he doesn't get aggressive, just scared. But that could have been a real risk for everyone involved. As for whether they had any way of checking whether they had the right time, I got a text from a number saying basically, "We're here." But that same number is who I got the confirmation text from. So IDK if it was a personal phone or some routing technology. But literally, if I scrolled up from her, "We're here" text, the one directly above it says, 2:04 p.m. Not the asshole. It's highly unprofessional to come 2.5 hours before the scheduled time and expect you to follow their schedule. They didn't know if you had plans earlier in the day or were even going to be there. You just needed to be there at 2:04, which is the appointment you picked out. Not the asshole. The point of a tip is to incentivize good service. They fucked up. When proven that they fucked up, they took the coward's way out instead of owning their mistake and apologizing. If they had apologized, I might have said you're the asshole for not tipping at all, but you were justified. It sounds like she was trying to make room for another client. Maybe she was working on a client nearby and didn't want to have to circle back at 2 when she was already close. That's the case. She, mom or daughter, should be checking the schedules in advance and calling ahead of time to see if it's convenient to move it. I imagine they have the same problem many have, which is customers all wanting the same time spots to avoid AM or PM traffic, first thing in the morning or last thing. Many don't want that 11:01 time slot, so it was probably open and she was making room for a higher paying client or trying to get a new customer. Not the asshole. She should have just apologized from the get-go instead of causing you unnecessary stress. You paid her for her services. I was a dog groomer and we never expected a tip. Lol. How absurd. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I don't have a dog, but I equate it to a hairdresser appointment. I wouldn't tip either. It was inconvenient and messed up your plans, and then even when you pointed out that they got the time wrong, they doubled down and insisted they were right. I'm also curious to know if they messed up another appointment and put them in your scheduled time slot. Not the asshole. They made a mistake or straight up lied. Must have been some mistake between your phone and mine. Her stupidity makes my brain hurt. That is not how technology works at all. Not the asshole. I think she gets no tip, both for causing the poor dog anxiety and for presuming you were stupid enough to believe that lie. Am I the asshole for telling my roommate she can't bring Tinder matches to our apartment? I, 25 male, and my wife, 26 female, have a 2-bedroom 2-bath apartment with our roommate, 24 female, who was my wife's best friend in college. Well, recently our roommate got out of a long-term relationship and wants to rebound on Tinder, which I morally have no issue with. Power to her, no slut shaming here. The only issue is she wants to bring Tinder matches over to our apartment for what will essentially be booty calls. And the only reason that is an issue to me is because I haven't mentioned, but my wife and I have a 5-year-old daughter, and since we have a 2-bedroom, she's very much in the living room and common areas, and our walls are thin, plus I'm uncomfortable with the thought of horny strangers being in and out of my apartment with my daughter around. So Reddit, am I the asshole for telling her she can't have Tinder matches she's never met come to the apartment? Edit. Okay, let me clarify, I am not banning her from having guests stating or having sex here. She is trying to match with hot guys on Tinder and have them meet up for the first time at our apartment with my daughter home. I don't think that's safe. So please stop assuming I'm trying to keep her from being a person she's had friends over, that she's known and she's hooked up with people in our apartment. I don't care about that. It's the strangers that she's literally never met. Update. My wife and I talked to our roommate more and explained further that we aren't trying to hold her back from hooking up or meeting people, we just want her to be safe. She agreed to meeting up somewhere before inviting them over. And since everyone is so worried about the living situation I have and my daughter, this situation was thrown on us 2 months ago. Our roommate is like family since we aren't close to ours, so we are looking at paying off our lease and renting a small house in our area. With our 3 incomes we can afford that. Last edit. Since everyone is so fucking money obsessed here. I pay all the utilities, all the food, and do all the cleaning. She works and makes over $1,200 a pay period as a hairstylist, but we only charge her $300 flat rent so she can save up to get her own place. She doesn't cook, she doesn't clean. She's basically our teenage daughter. And the reason why she is in my daughter's room is my daughter is 5 and has nightmares constantly, so she slept in my room anyway. She already had a bed in my room, so there wasn't any displacement. We have busy days, so we mainly just sleep at home. But thank you Reddit for being concerned about all of the wrong things, lol. And for the record, she said she didn't want to go to stranger's house cause that was too scary. So she's rather bring a stranger to our house. Final update. My roommate came to my wife and I to talk and she apologized for the whole situation. She said she's not truly interested in hooking up with randoms on Tinder, but she feels really lonely since the breakup and wants company, but she understands she's not just putting herself at risk but all of us and all of our stuff at risk by having strangers come to our house. She decided to delete Tinder. She knows plenty of guys that she can pursue from real life and already has a date set with an old friend she's known for years. She said she appreciates us for letting her stay here and that if we do decide to get a house together, which would just renting a house not buying a house, this wouldn't be an issue moving forward. Thanks for your concern Reddit, but I don't feel like an asshole. Nah, I think it's just a living situation that isn't going to continue to work out. You are at different stages in life and should stop living together. I guess I should clarify our roommate was in a very abusive relationship and had to leave her long-term boyfriend, but she has no family in this state, so her being my wife's best friend, we offered her a place to stay while she gets on her feet, so she pays a small rent to stay in my daughter's room and now my daughter stays in our room. Yes, it's not ideal, but she's a good person and we care about her, so we offered our friend help. No assholes here, but this is clearly not a good setup for your daughter. Not the asshole. I might overwatch Dr. Phil a little, but having random strange men in the house to do all kinds of stuff in your daughter's bedroom is a serious sexual abuse risk. Even if she met them a couple times. There are some statistics on those things. I think not having men over should be a real hard boundary. She can still do whatever, but at their houses. It's very kind to have her crash for a while, but it should not compromise your girl's safety. 2-bedroom with a mom, dad, 5-year-old, and a roommate? Man. The cost of living is seriously fucking with everyone. Not the asshole. I wouldn't want a stream of strange men coming into my home. She just got out of an abusive relationship. Jumping into the sack with a bunch of random men is not the way to improve your outlook in life. She needs to process what happened to her with a therapist so she doesn't end up jumping into another abusive relationship. She's vulnerable right now and unscrupulous men can sniff that out and exploit it. Seen and experienced that time and time again. I'm more concerned about her well-being really. She came into your home that you generously opened up to her so she would have a safe place to land. It is a big ask for her to change your home dynamics like this. Your child and her safety and well-being comes first. Random hookups in your home is a no-go. Nah. This just isn't a good long-term living situation for any of you, as you're now learning. I don't think you're in the wrong for telling her that you don't want random dudes in your small apartment with your daughter. That's a reasonable request. But it's also reasonable that she wants to move on with her life and start dating again. It sounds like she is past the initial crisis that brought her into your home. It's probably time for her to get her own place. Until then, maybe she could get a hotel room for her liaisons? Good luck, I hope you can work it out. Not the asshole because you all live together and should compromise on the living space rules. You are the asshole for having your daughter in that living situation. One of you need to leave. Am I the asshole for refusing to talk to my mother after she went through my phone? I'm 18 female. I live locally but no longer with my mom anymore and I'm going to college. I also work full-time. A few months ago I needed to pick up my new phone and set it up, but the store closed before I got out of work. So my mom offered to help me out. She needed my Apple ID and password when she got there for them to set it up, so I didn't think anything of it when giving it to her. Later that night I go over to her house and pick it up, and we just start talking. All of a sudden she starts lecturing me about my relationship with my boyfriend and trying to be nice about it. At this point I'm confused why she's talking about this. Then she finally says something like, "What I read," and I ask her if she read my texts. She tries to deny it but I figured it out. She had read a 3-week-old argument my boyfriend and I had over text which was long figured out between the two of us and we currently have no issues at all between us. Anyways, she continues to go on and starts to lecture me about how we shouldn't be fighting like that and that's it's toxic. It was just a fight that any couple would have and yes, we were both very mad. Well, I got pissed the fact that she invaded my privacy like that, read 3 weeks worth my private texts with my boyfriend, and then felt the need to lecture me about it. I blew up on her and was absolutely in shock. I was yelling and she started yelling too about it, saying she doesn't like reading those things and is worried about me being extremely condescending. I storm out of the house. She texts me afterwards basically saying, "I'm sorry I invaded your privacy, but as a mother I look out for you and need to make sure my daughter is okay." Since then I have refused to talk to her until she comes to me with an actual apology. I've talked with both my brother and dad and since then they tell me that she doesn't think she did anything wrong and she thinks if she just waits then I'll talk to her again. And I also find out through them she went through my emails too. My dad though thinks I should just talk with her. But I'm still so hurt and mad about it. Like who would go through anyone and their significant other's messages? What if I went through hers and her boyfriend's? My dad and her are divorced. Seriously, to me it's just weird. And it would be different if I were younger and still living there. At least I think so. Am I the asshole for continuing to refuse talking to her? I do miss my mom but I want her to understand how she hurt me without having to spoon-feed it to her. I don't know what to do lol. Edit. I feel like if I just was the bigger person it wouldn't have gone on this long. Also I want to add my mom has always done stuff like this edit. But not to this extent I mean. She's always opened my mail and went through my room, listening in on my conversations outside my door but never this. Disrespecting me and justifying it but this time I just couldn't take it. My dad's argument is that I know how she is and she's never going to change. Edit 2. Someone commented and it made me realize why this makes me pretty sad and really feel like the asshole, if I kept this on and not speaking during holidays and birthdays coming up. I don't want to let this go without her apology but I'm worried she won't by then. Would I be the asshole in that case? Or just how would I go about it where it doesn't end with her thinking she's in the right? Any apology followed by a but is no apology but an excuse. Had she said I'm sorry I went through your phone it was wrong. Then it would be different. NTA your privacy is not your mom's to throw away. Not the asshole. I'm sorry but I was justified as not an actual apology or getting what you did was wrong. And your brother and dad confirmed this. How worried can she be if she is now okay to not even talk to you? This is BS. I would not talk to her, and even when her "I'm sorry, can we move on?" story comes, I would choose very clear words why this isn't okay. You are not the asshole, however you should nip this crap in the bud. I would reach out to her by letter, actual through the mail letter, reiterating what you feel she did wrong and that she has broken any trust you had in her. Give her the opportunity in the letter to give an actual apology and admit what she did was wrong. Not just, sorry if you feel that way. Until you get a satisfactory apology, just grey rock her. She gets nothing out of you, no emotion, no reaction, no information. Edit. The point of grey rocking her would not be to cut her off from any information about you. She will get that from your dad and brother. Rather, you are emotionally excluding her. She wants to be all up in your business and you will give her nothing but the barest surface-level courtesy. You're not the asshole. It seems like she's projecting her own experiences onto your relationship, and she wouldn't have ended up in that situation if she hadn't snooped, which is absolutely not okay. As a complete side note, if those texts involved any sort of cruel name-calling, manipulation, abusive language or threats, it's a completely inappropriate way to have it pointed out to you, but it might be worth considering if everything is as it should be. Yes, everyone argues, but make sure you're being treated with as much value as you possess, and that you're doing the same for your partner. Not the asshole. You knew that already. But I don't think your mom will understand. She might end up apologizing if you keep on not talking to her, but that will not mean she gets what she did. If this is not a habit of hers and she has not invaded your privacy like that before, then perhaps it would be easier if you explained to her why what she did was wrong, how exactly you feel, and ask her how would she feel if the tables were turned and she was in your shoes. It's easy to get mad and stay mad, but in the end that does not solve anything. Talk it out and see if you can make her understand. If not, then you can move on and set firm boundaries. Not the asshole. You're an adult. None of your business is your mom's anymore as long as you don't want it to. If you think her apology is sincere, you should have a talk with her anyway and tell her that she crossed a line. A line you can now set up as you are not a minor anymore. Maybe she'll understand and you'll be fine again with each other. From a parent's perspective, I can understand her move. It's hard to let your kids go, but you have to. She has to learn that, and maybe you can give her a chance to try again. My dad's argument is that I know how she is and she's never going to change. It's attitudes like that which allow toxic folks to stay toxic. Maybe try to hold people to a decent standard of behavior instead of just saying they'll never change. Violating privacy is definitely a no-contact worthy offense in my mind. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Don't be the bigger person. That means you're telling her it's okay and she gets to act all smug and superior. She knows what she did and she knows it's wrong. Ice her out. And ice anyone in the family out if they're going to back her. Am I the asshole for not giving my friend's girlfriend a free ticket to a music festival? My buddies and I are pretty serious about trivia, and partake in a trivia league at a local bar. Basically, you go every week for a couple months. The bar keeps track of scoring every week. And there are prizes at the end for the top 3 teams, usually $1,000 cash for first place, a $500 bar gift card for second place, and $100 bar gift card for third place. It's pretty official in that the teams are allowed to be max 4 people. You can't have subs. If someone on your team can't make it one week, your team can't replace them, they have to go without them, so it's a commitment. They do this league about 4x a year. We've placed third a couple times in the past, but we've never won the whole thing before. The last league ended a couple weeks ago and lo and behold, we actually won. I was quite excited as I planned on putting my $250 toward taking my girlfriend away for a weekend. It could cover 2 nights in an Airbnb. Well, when we won, the bar had a special announcement. We could choose either $1,200, so $300 apiece, or weekend passes to a local music festival. If we picked the money, second place team could take the tickets. The tickets were valued higher than $1,200, but I encouraged my team to take the money. Reason being, I'm not a big concert guy. It would require me taking off work to use the full benefits of the tickets, and I just wanted the money lol. I got outvoted and we ended up with the tickets. My one buddy immediately asked me if I seriously didn't want to go to the music fest, and I said not really. He was like, great, so my girlfriend M can take your ticket. I said sure for $300. He immediately laughed at me and said I was ridiculous for wanting to charge M for something I got for free. I said just because it was free to me doesn't mean shit. I earned the prize, and they vetoed me on the prize I actually wanted. I thought $300 was more than fair. He said never mind then and dropped it. Well anyway, it's been a couple weeks, and my buddy texted me last night saying M would pay me $250. I said sorry, I sold it on StubHub for $350. He blew up at me and called me an asshole for selling it online instead of offering it to his girlfriend again. I said I already offered for $300 and was told no, it's not my fault. He declined and then was still offering me less than I wanted, and even less than I got for it. I guess M really wants to go but can't find anything online that she can afford. Apparently $250 was her max. So now all my friends are icing me out and in their eyes I'm the bad guy. Am I the asshole? Update. So one of my friends texted me saying I was being greedy for not selling M the ticket for $250 and posting it on StubHub instead. I told him M's boyfriend, P, didn't offer me $250 until last night. Turns out when P told M about this a couple weeks ago, after he originally turned me down for the $300, M told him to offer me $250. P waited until the last minute. I think he thought I would be more likely to sell for $250 versus $300 the closer it got to the actual event, and told everyone I went back on our deal of $250 in order to make more money. I sent our friends a screenshot of P's text last night, and a screenshot of StubHub confirmed my sale last week, proving that he lied and only offered me $250 after I had already sold the ticket. So now, M is super pissed at P for screwing her out of a ticket by trying to play chicken with me. NTA. If you won a car you didn't want, would you give it away? You offered a respectable price for it, and maybe her boyfriend should have chipped in the extra $50. They knew you wanted the cash prize in the first place, so they should have respect your part in winning in the first place. Not the asshole. Like others have said, you received a prize and are free to do anything you want with it. Not the asshole. You voted for the cash because you knew you couldn't go. They outvoted you. That doesn't mean you gave up your right to a prize. It was your ticket so you could do with it what you wanted. Including get the money you wanted in the first place. Not the asshole. The ticket was yours to do whatever you wanted with. You earned it. Not the asshole. You were part of a winning team that outvoted you on the prize. It's your right to do with that prize as you wish, including selling it for $300 plus dollars. If your buddy really wanted that ticket for his girlfriend, he should have shelled out the original $300 you asked for, and had his lady recomp him. If all your friends are icing you out, you can point out that they could have offered her their tickets for $250 and see how they feel about it. Or ask them why you should be denied a prize you actually wanted and had to go through an extra step to get it, when everyone else on the team got what they wanted. Hope it works out. Not the asshole. Absolutely not. You won a prize and offered to sell it. They declined, you sold it, and now they are annoyed? Procrastination on their part is not a you problem. If you had each won a car and you didn't drive, would they expect you to give it or sell it at a reduced price to his girlfriend after she declined to buy it? Absolutely not. Same reasoning applies to all prizes. It's yours, you do what you want with it. And as a side note, G.F. can't find a ticket at $250 because they are worth more. Her budget will never dictate the price on anything. She wants an Audi but she can only afford a Taurus, not the Audi dealership's problem. Not the asshole. You won it, you do whatever you want with it. Not the asshole, especially after the update.